R8. Again, we are factoring trinomials and factoring completely. So we're going to look at another type of factoring. This is when a is not 1. So that number out front, the number in front of the x squared, is not 1. We have to factor it this way. So we can't just break down C and find our factors that add to B. We're going to do something different. In the notes, it gives us 2 possible options, but I think neither one of them are the best option, so I'm going to show you the easiest way to multiply these, or to factor it. So looking at our example on the first page, when we start with a number that is not 1, so that coefficient in front of the x squared is not 1, we start by multiplying the first and the last term. So first times the last. So what is 2 times negative 15? Negative 30. Now we want to find 2 factors of negative 30 that add to our middle term. If I don't have a number there, what number do I need this to add to? 1. So what are 2 factors of negative 30 that add to 1? George. Well, what's 1 plus negative 30? Negative 29, so that doesn't work. 6 and negative 5, perfect. Because 6 times negative 5 would be negative 30, and 6 minus 5 would be positive 1. So I'm going to write those in my parentheses just like I did before, so x plus 6 and x minus 5. So here, since we started by multiplying, the last step we have to do is divide. So since I started by multiplying that number out front, I have to divide both of these numbers by that number. So we can't just write our factors and then that's it. We started by multiplying, so I have to end with dividing. If we can simplify it, we want to simplify it. So what's 6 divided by 2? 3. So this turns into x plus 3. But can I divide negative 5 by 2? No. So if it doesn't simplify, we take the denominator, the number on the bottom, and move it in front of that x. So this turns into 2x minus 5. And this is our answer. So just like before, we can check our work. So check the answer by factoring. By foiling, sorry. We are factoring. We check by foiling. So let's check our answer. Let's FOIL it out. How do I FOIL? What do I do first? So multiply the first ones. So x times 2x would be 2x squared. X times negative 5 would be negative 5x. 3 times 2x would be 6x. And then 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. And then we combine our like terms. What are my like terms here? The x's. So that 2x squared stays the same, and it becomes plus x, because negative 5 plus 6 would just be 1, minus 15, which is the same thing as the original. So we can check our answers by foiling. All right, so we want to factor. So because I have a number out front, a coefficient in front of my x squared, I start by multiplying the first times the last. So 2 times 3 would be 6. What are 2 factors of 6 that add to negative 5? 2 and 3, are they both positive or negative? Negative. So negative 2 and negative 3. So in my parentheses here, I have x minus 2 and x minus 3. Now, since I started by multiplying, what do I have to remember to do next? Divide. So I divide by that number that I multiplied out front. So divide by 2, divide by 2. Simplify where we can. So what is negative 2 divided by 2? Negative 1. So my first parentheses turns into x minus 1. What do I do if I can't simplify? Put it in front of that x. So this turns into 2x minus 3. All right, let's look at the next one. So since I start with a number out front, that x squared has a coefficient, what do I have to do? Multiply the first times the last. So what's 2 times negative 27? Negative 54. What are two factors of negative 54 that add to negative 3? Negative 9 and 6. Awesome. If you didn't know that right off the top of your head, make a little chart on the side. Negative 54, our factors would be 1 and 54, 2 and 27. We could keep going, but we know negative 9 and 6 works. So I'm going to put those in my parentheses, x minus 9 and x plus 6. Now, since I started by multiplying, what do I have to remember to do? Divide. Can I divide negative 9 by 2? Nope. So what do I do with the 2? Put it in front of the x, so it turns into 2x minus 9. Can I divide 6 by 2? What does it turn into? 3. So x plus 3. All right. Let's look at the next one. So since I start with a number in front of the x squared, how do I have to factor this? Multiply the first times the last. So we have 8 times 18. What is it? 144. So we need two factors of 144 that add to 51. Let's make a little chart. I have 144. My factors would be 1 and 144. 2 and 72. That doesn't work. 3. Let's see how many times 3 goes into 144. 48. 3 and 48. Does that work? Yay. So 3 and 48 are my factors. So I have x plus 3, x plus 48. What do I have to do next? Since I started by multiplying, I have to remember to go back in and divide by that first number. So here I'm dividing both my numbers by 8, since my leading coefficient was 8. Can I divide 3 by 8? Nope. So we put it in front of the x, so this becomes 8x plus 3. Can I divide 48 by 8? Yes. What's 48 divided by 8? 6. So the second one is x plus 6. That's our answer. All right, let's look at the next one. So what do I have to do first here? Multiply the first times the last. So what is negative 6 times 3? Negative 18. What are two factors of negative 18 that add to 17? 18 and negative 1. Perfect. So in my parentheses, I have x plus 18 and x minus 1. What do I have to do next? Divide by negative 6. What is 18 divided by negative 6? Negative 3. So my first parentheses turns into x minus 3. Can I divide 1 by negative 6? Nope. So that negative 6 is going to go in front of the x. So negative 6x minus 1. For this type of question, whenever you have a negative out front, you always want to double check your answer. You don't have to FOIL it out completely. If you want to, that's totally fine. but just double check when you multiply the first terms that it gives you the first term here. Because if I simplified this and made it both positive, then I wouldn't have that -6 in front. So you just want to make sure when you multiply the first ones, it gives you that same number there, just to double check your signs. So when you have a negative out front, just double check your answer. You don't have to FOIL it completely, just do the F part of the FOIL. Yes?
It doesn't matter what order you put in, right?
Doesn't matter what order you put it in. So if I wanted to, I could write my answer as -6x - 1 and x - 3.